Hey guys, welcome back to Blue Dawn Enduro. So today I'm going to tackle replacing my shock spring. So I'm going to be working on getting the rear shock out, and there's like at least 3 different ways I've seen to replace the shock spring. And on the owner's manual, here's my owner's manual. You don't get a paper one, but I thought it was worth uploading it to like Staples or Kinko's, or you can do it at like Office Depot. For about 30 bucks. Print the whole thing left. I can't stand using a tablet to do stuff. I can find things in the table of contents so much easier. In the owner's manual, the procedure is taking the swing arm off, which requires you take the chain off, or the rear wheel or the master link to get the chain, which is, gosh, I don't really want to do that on a brand new bike. I mean, it's not that huge of a deal, but the other methods, you can take it off the linkage and drop the spring right out the bottom, but that requires you loosen the compression collar, by banging on it with like a screwdriver and a hammer, which I don't want to do because I don't believe that's steel. And the third method I saw was actually taking your subframe up, and that requires a lot too. You got to take, the C air boot. So I'm going to try the method where I come out the side. I don't really want to take my air boot off right now. I've got to take my silencer off anyway to do the end cap. So I'm going to try taking it out the side. I saw a couple videos, guys, dropping it down, turning it, and pulling it out. So to remove the seat, first you remove the air box. And I haven't done that yet, but I understand you just pull up on some tabs down below here. And then it slides back. So if you pull out here, there we go. Then there's one screw on the seat right here. Now the seat should just pop back. Seat comes off real easy. It's got a couple of catches. Okay, to remove the right side cover, you've got to take a tab off in the back first. There's like a tab. Okay, there it pops off. And then it says to remove it in this area here. Okay. Not sure if I pull back or just kind of, looks like I go down. Yeah, there's tabs underneath there. Okay, now I have access to the silencer screws. So I'll taking the silencer off next. Silencer is real easy, I believe. There's just 2 screws, and then there's a rubber boot that attaches to the expansion chamber. Drop. Okay, now there's like let me just show you. There's a spring pressure ring on there. I'm going to pull the spring pressure ring off. Pressure ring off. Make sure there's anything else obstructing down here. Just going to come straight back. There. Oh, yeah. I think it was just hanging up on some plastic. Pops right off. We'll leave the spring on there. Well, I'll take the spring off so I don't lose it. Okay, so next I'm gonna remove the nut for the linkage and the screw for the bottom of the shock. We got a 17 and a 13. Prop the bike up. So yeah, put the bike on a stand and then put some wood under the wheel because you need support on the swing arm. Torque down pretty good, so yeah. Dog bone bolt. I'm gonna ding up your bolts right away.
about that. My phone filled up, and the trick is to get this the dog bone bolt out, which, by the way, has 0 grease on it. That surprises me a little, so maybe put a little grease on that when I put it back together. The trick, pull up on the swing arm a bit, take the tension off that bolt, and it comes out real easy. You just want to turn on the other side. There's a flat on here that's facing forward. Turn it up and it'll clear your chain. So now I'll move that down, and we just got this one, I think it's a 13 at the top, and then I'm hoping it'll twist and clear out of here, but if not, I'll take this side plate off the gas tank on the right. Okay, it is out. Now, can I get her to turn? So that's what I saw somebody do. They turn it this way. Okay, so the header pipe is touching a bit there. Okay, so I removed the right side tank plastic. There's just 2 screws up at the radiator and 2 M6s at the very top. And then it pulls straight back off this bolt. But again, yeah, so what's holding it up is the header pipe. Okay, so I'm gonna loosen the header pipe. Okay, so I loosened the 2 expansion chamber bolts, but I didn't actually take the header springs off because I'm able to rotate the pipe, I think, as far as it would be to get out of the way. At least as far as I think I can get it to go to get out of the way. And voila! That is a trick, guys. That is so much better than, in my opinion, than taking the swing arm off. So the first thing you want to do when replacing a spring is, and I'm replacing the factory spring, make sure you can see that there, is measure the preload that's there. And normally the preload is like 10 millimeters. So what I have here is exactly 50. Got 50 millimeters. And the spring I got from Slavens is exactly 60. So God, that's cool. I think it's exactly the same length, but when I uncompress it, I'll find out. So first you gotta loosen an Allen screw here on the compression collar. It's above the compression collar. And then, okay, so I got her clamped in here on the bearing bushings. I'll rotate this by hand. I have on my KYB, if you get a hold of the spring and turn the collar at the same time, it'll rotate, but this is pretty stiff. So I'm gonna try, this wrench doesn't fit in the notch all the way because it's for an older KTM exact shock, so, but I can barely get on there. Okay, yeah, now I'm turning, and so I think this is gonna work. It doesn't take a lot of pressure, really. It just, when you turn the spring with it, things turn pretty well. At 6, I want to gotta have enough slack up here to pull this down and get the spring off, the circlip. So I just checked the length of the stock spring
is also 60 millimeters, I believe. Actually looks a tad, it's like 61 millimeters. Look at this, 1 millimeter longer. Could be extra thick paint, who knows. This circlip is super easy. You don't need any special tools. Okay, so I'm flush against, took the slack out, and start counting. I went 6 rotations. So that is 6. Here we are at 51, so I think probably a half turn and we'll be there. There we are, exactly 50. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down. Can do that. Okay, things went really good with swapping the spring. So I'm ready to put her back in. Once you loosen up that header pipe, things go in really easily. There we go, 44. Now I'm gonna tighten the pipe bolts back in. So now I'm gonna connect down the bottom, the linkage, and the shock, and they are also 44 foot-pounds. I'm gonna put a little grease on that dog bone axle this time. Prop up the rear wheel just a little bit further back. And started using this Maxima waterproof grease for stuff like this. So don't forget to rotate that flange on the other side so that it stays flat. I almost did forget. Well, you start cranking on this nut, which is going to be 44 foot-pounds. There's 44 on the shock. Putting a little bit of blue threadlock on that, and I'll go ahead and put a little grease on it as well. Yep, that's it. It's also 44 foot-pounds, but it's a 13. There's 44. That's it for the shock.